From Kenora-Rainy River.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the acting Premier. After a 10-year tick host study conducted across Ontario revealed that Corkscrew Island, located 20 kilometres southwest of Kenora, has the highest infection prevalence of Lyme disease ever reported in Canada. A research study last year determined that Lyme disease was found in 8 species of ticks, with 41% testing positive for Lyme, a disease with no cure. This research is a bombshell for people living in the Northwest, and despite its author sending a copy to the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care last November, the government has not so much as even notified the public about it. The people in Kenora and across the Northwest are worried about contracting Lyme disease, and far too many are already suffering with this debilitating disease. Why is this government not acting on a health crisis that is greatly affecting Northerners?
Question. Thank you. Deputy Premier.
Minister of Health and Long-Term Care.
Minister of Health, Long-Term Care.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Lyme disease is a disease that is affecting many parts of this province and many Ontarians. It's an important issue, and it's the reason why in July of last year, Ontario launched the Combating Lyme Disease through Collaborative Action Plan, which is a 10-step education and awareness plan, partly to deal with this specific issue that has been referenced with regards to the North, is to help Ontarians understand the risk that exists in many parts of this province, including in the North, but also the steps that they can take as individuals, as parents, as owners of animals as well, because this is a disease that affects humans and animals and domesticated pets. But certainly when it comes to human infection, there are important measures that can and need to be taken to prevent, as well as individuals are infected, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. What we already know about chronic Lyme disease is that it is a horrific disease with the potential to affect every system in the body and that it can result in paralysis. We also know that the most effective prevention of Lyme disease, once a tick has been attached for more than 24 hours, is to quickly treat it within 72 hours after it's removed. The problem is that the government doesn't have a strategy in place to treat Lyme disease, and not all physicians are versed in the best treatment options. Nearly 3 years ago, in 2014, this House passed a motion from the member from Algoma Manitoulin calling on the government to create a comprehensive and integrated Lyme disease strategy for Ontario, but it still hasn't happened. Minister, the risk of Lyme disease is at potentially crisis levels in Kenora. When is this government going to develop not just an awareness plan, but a concrete and robust strategy on Lyme disease to protect the people in the Northwest and families all across this province?
Thank you. Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you, Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it is true that the member from Algoma Manitoulin has been very vocal about this issue. We've had many conversations. I think in a collaborative way, I'll be meeting with him and some stakeholders that are concerned about this issue in the coming weeks, Mr. Speaker. But we also, in addition to that action plan that I referenced, and there is federal action as well taking place, because this is an issue that doesn't just affect Ontario. But last year, we also created a Lyme disease stakeholder group to lead a review on existing Lyme disease issues. We are working with Public Health Ontario to update on all elements of Lyme disease prevention as well as treatment, education and awareness, including of healthcare professionals. I agree with the member opposite that this is a multifaceted issue. The Minister of Climate Change reminded me that when it comes to the North as well, climate change plays an aspect. We need to look at it in a multifactorial way.